I never thought a single night could change everything. It started innocently, or at least I convinced myself it was. Mark and I had been together for 6 years, our love worn smooth by comfort and routine. But lately, something inside me had been restless, a silent itch that refused to go away. I told myself it wasn't about him, that it was just me, craving excitement, novelty, the forbidden. So when Ryan, a stranger I met at a work conference, flirted with me over drinks, I didn't resist. I told myself it was harmless, that I could stop at any time. But one drink led to another, one laugh led to a touch, and by the time the night ended, I had crossed a line I never imagined crossing. I slept with him. The moment was fleeting, almost dreamlike, and yet, when I walked out of that hotel room and back into the ordinary world, reality hit me like a tidal wave. My phone buzzed immediately, Mark's name lighting up the screen. "Hey babe. Missed you tonight," he wrote. My chest tightened. How could I look at him the same way, knowing what I had done? I texted back a generic smiley, the tiniest crack in my calm facade. The days that followed were a blur of guilt, anxiety, and denial. I tried to act normal, laughing at his jokes, holding his hand, sharing meals like nothing had happened. But Mark sensed it. He always did. One evening, as we sat on the couch watching a movie, he leaned back and said casually, almost too casually, "You seem different lately. Is everything okay?" I froze. My heart raced, my palms sweaty. I wanted to lie, to tell him everything was fine, but the truth bubbled just beneath my tongue, a poison I couldn't swallow. "Yeah, just tired, I guess," I murmured, forcing a smile. But he didn't buy it. He looked at me with those eyes that had once been filled with love and laughter, now clouded with suspicion. 2 weeks later it happened. I came home to find Mark sitting at the kitchen table, staring at a small envelope. "What's this?" he asked, voice trembling. My stomach dropped. I didn't recognize the envelope, but instinct screamed at me that it was a warning, a sign that my secret was about to explode. He opened it slowly, almost ceremoniously, and pulled out a single photograph. My heart stopped. It was me, Ryan and I, laughing in that hotel room, oblivious to everything else in the world. He looked at me, and I saw it then, the raw, unbearable heartbreak in his eyes. That silence, that hollow ache, was worse than any scream, any argument, any betrayal I had imagined. I don't even know what to say," he whispered. His voice cracked, a sharp, painful edge to it that cut me deeper than any knife ever could. He didn't shout. He didn't cry. He just sat there, the weight of my betrayal pressing down on both of us. I wanted to run, to apologize, to fix this before it was too late, but the words caught in my throat, meaningless, inadequate. "I never thought you'd do this," he said finally, voice low and broken. "I thought we were everything." And that was it. I realized in that moment that I had shattered him, not with rage, not with anger, but with a sheer betrayal of trust. The love we had built over years, the life we had imagined together, now felt fragile and unreal. Days passed. Mark barely spoke to me, and when he did, it was clipped, cautious. I tried to explain, to tell him it was a mistake, that I loved him, that I didn't know why I had done it. But I could see that my words, however sincere, were meaningless. He was retreating, shutting down, protecting himself from the woman he had once trusted completely. It wasn't until I saw him sitting alone in the park, staring at the pond where we had first met, that I understood the full scope of what I had done. He hadn't yelled, hadn't begged, hadn't cried in front of me, but in his silence, in the slow slump of his shoulders and the emptiness in his gaze, I saw the devastation I had caused. I realized that the man I loved wasn't just hurt, he was broken, and I had handed him the pieces. That night, I stayed up, replaying every moment, every touch, every smile that I had shared with Ryan, and compared it with Mark's devastated face. And then it hit me like lightning. I hadn't slept with Ryan because I wanted him. I had done it because I had taken Mark for granted, because I had become blind to what I truly had. Seeing Mark's heart break, seeing the quiet collapse of a man who had given me everything, love, loyalty, faith, was my wake-up call. I went to him the next morning, heart pounding, hands shaking. "Mark, please. I made the worst mistake of my life," I said, tears streaming down my face. "I don't want anyone else. I don't want Ryan. I want you. I've realized what I had and how much I've risked losing it." He looked at me for what felt like an eternity, silent, studying me, weighing my words against the betrayal he had seen with his own eyes. Then, slowly, he reached out and took my hand.
"I don't know if I can trust you again," he said softly.
"But, if you're willing to prove it, if you're willing to really fight for us, maybe we can try." And in that moment I knew that love isn't just about passion or excitement. It's about loyalty, honesty, and the courage to face the consequences of your actions. I had almost destroyed the one person who meant everything to me, and now, for the first time in weeks, I felt a sliver of hope. I had slept with someone else, yes, and it was the worst decision of my life. But seeing Mark's heartbreak, feeling the weight of my own betrayal, I understood the value of what I had almost lost. That night with Ryan became a painful lesson, a harsh mirror reflecting my own selfishness. And in the wreckage, I found clarity. I loved Mark more than I had ever loved anyone, and I was willing to do whatever it took to rebuild what I had shattered. It wouldn't be easy. Trust, once broken, is a slow, fragile thing to repair. But as Mark squeezed my hand and held me close, I realized that sometimes, it takes almost losing everything to finally understand what truly matters. And for me, that lesson came in the form of heartbreak, regret, and the man I would never let go of again.